Congressman Roger Williams. He is the chairman of the House Small Business Committee and a member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. So, are you surprised that 20 unaccompanied children were encountered and more special interest individuals were encountered at the southern border? How would you assess the situation today?
Well, I mean, it's a mess. I mean, it gets worse every single day, and the fact that we've got more and more people wanting to come, they know that it's going to be different under President Trump. It just promotes these young children. It just reminds us these young kids that are coming up here with nobody to talk to except a drug dealer and a sex trafficker. So this is why we've got to get control of the border. We've got to get back to being a land of law where people understand that. And that's going to be a part of the Trump agenda is secure the border and keep the drug dealers from running around the border and fix things is the way we're going to have to do it. We know it works.
How do you respond to some of these Democrat governors who are saying, not on my watch, you're not coming for my people, we're not going to help you, we're not going to have our law enforcement of our state do anything in terms of rounding up illegal migrants to send them back? I mean, what do you want to say to these governors who are basically putting on the resist again?
Well, they're putting on the resist, and the interesting thing is they think they're protecting their people. Well, their people voted for President Trump. They voted for deportation. They voted for a secure border. They voted for all the things we're talking about. They voted for the military at the border. So I don't know what they're doing from a political standpoint. It sounds like suicide to me. But look, the fact of the matter is the American people voted. We want border security. We want to be a land of law. That's what's going to happen. That's what the people want. And begin to get things fixed and settle ourselves down in this world and get control of ourselves.
So will this stump President Trump's plans? I mean, if he goes into New York and tries to find the illegal, Venezuelan gangs who are running around New York and robbing people, I mean, is Kathy Hochul going to stop him?
Well, it's hard to believe that she would. I mean, because Maria, it gets back to the election. This election said a lot of things. People spoke for a lot, one of which was a secure border. And if Kathy Hochul's going to fight him, I don't know who she's fighting for. She's fighting the illegals. She's fighting exactly. She's representing
the illegals. Yeah.
And so in illegal behavior. So look, America doesn't want that. America spoke, and Trump's going to get support from everybody to do what we need to do, especially down in Texas. And it's going to turn our country around, make it safer, and certainly for small businesses. Businesses are going to be able to open again. They're going to be able to survive. They're going to be able to hire people, compete, and offer goods and services.
Congressman, I want to ask you about a story we've been covering and talking about this morning. President-elect Trump is rounding out his cabinet with some members who will be tough on China. They're China hawks, and like Marco Rubio, for example, a Secretary of State nominee. TD Cowen is out with new analysis this morning based on those choices. And the analyst there writes this: we expect more, if not all, Chinese companies that trade on U.S. exchanges to be delisted. Are you expecting legislation to delist companies that trade in the U.S. right now, which may very well have ties to the Chinese military, our adversary?
Yeah, we have to worry about America first. We have to defend ourselves, and China is frankly the enemy, and they silently come in here and buy our land, buy our products, buy our intellectual property. I think we have to take a look at that. This is America. You're free to do things, buy and sell as you want, but this is a unique situation we're in. China is, we're their enemy number one, and vice versa. I think we need to take a look at it. I mean, we talked about it earlier. When they own 31 million acres of our food land and our farmland, that's a dangerous situation. And you can go to many communities in America, and you go to the downtown, the buildings are owned by the Chinese. That's got to stop. It's got to be America first. We got to control who we're doing business with, and I think we'll have an opportunity to come up with a plan that puts a hurt on China.
So you would support delisting Chinese stocks, especially those that are already sanctioned?
Yeah. Well, I think right now I'd take a strong look at it because, again, it gets back to who's taking care of our country. It's America first. It's the agenda. And I'm for competition and all that sort of thing. So I want to take a look at it, and because it would be unique in what we might do. But let's take a look at it because we are in unique times, and America is in the crosshairs of everybody right now. We've got to fight back.
Well, Trump's economic advisors and some congressional Republicans are also reportedly considering making changes to federal programs like Medicaid and food stamps to offset the cost of extending the tax cuts. The Washington Post reports some are pushing for new work requirements and spending caps for the programs. Congressman, do you support that?
Well, there's a lot of opportunity to make some changes here. without hurting people. So if I'm a big tax cutter. I think if you cut taxes, you create more taxpayers, you create more revenue. If you're looking for pay-fors, there's a lot of places to look for, some of which you just named. But again, I think we need to cut the taxes, cut the regulations, turn Main Street loose, hire people, create cash flow, and begin to see where we can cut.
Well, what's most important for small business? I mean, Congressman, you're on the committee, and small business owners are optimistic about Trump's plans to cut regulations, certainly, and cut taxes. But there are also critics warning about the impact of the deportation plans and Trump's tariffs plans. So give us your expectations in terms of small business and the impacts from the incoming administration.
Well, small business in Main Street America are excited. I can tell you, as a small business owner myself, it's like we've had a great opportunity that's going to come before us, because if you cut regulations and you cut taxes and you create competition with each other rather than the federal government, and you even have the ability to create inventory so consumers can create discounts with who they buy things from, this turns an economy around immediately. And so I'm excited about it, and there's going to be ways to cut and give back to the private sector. The more we can do for the private sector and take away from the federal government, the better off we are. The federal government, as we know, can create a lot of jobs, but it doesn't create net worth like the private sector does. And I think that's what we're looking forward to.
How worried are you that Trump is tapping into the House for potential nominees? Are you going to have a very slim majority again?
Well, we're going to have a slim majority. We know that, maybe 2 or 3. The fact that he's taking great people out of the House. I mean, when you're on a fine number to try to make sure you hit, you worry about each one that leaves. But I think he's made great picks. We're going to have the majority. We're going to be able to get great things done and put America back in place where, like the voters said, they wanted to see back on November 5th. So I couldn't be more excited for small business Main Street America. We're going to have great things happen.